EDG is at match point after Suning and EDG fought exactly where the two teams wanted to, but EDG just looked much stronger during the mid-game after a good draft phase that came out from them. Putting iBoy on Kog'Maw allowed them to secure themselves a nice victory, and it just looked relatively easy for them.
Yeah, I mean, if the battle's between two very strong mid-game teams, winning the early game is always going to be the biggest factor as to having that mid-game strength, and suddenly EDG get a very quick and a very clean game as a result of stronger laning phase, particularly through that 2v2 in the bottom lane, and jungle ganks being successful from Haro when he was able to execute on those brilliantly at level 3 to unlock Scout.
Not only are these two teams mid-game focused teams, but they are super fast when it comes to mid-game. We saw the big team fight was at 19 minutes, Baron was taken at 20 minutes as well. And big snowballs come out from the two teams. The big question that came out from Suning, though, was why they picked up the Jax. Jarvan left over and Kha'Zix left over and Zac left over after they said Joanny, as well as a, what's that guy named? Skarner ban coming out from EDG earlier on, but we'll have to see if they do change things up going to game number 2, because EDG looked fairly comfortable with what they got to pick up for game 1.
Yeah, when you look at things to change for EDG, you don't really need to get rid of anything. You're looking at Suning saying what will they take and how to EDG adapt, and specifically for Suning Gaming, you mentioned the Jax, and I will just quickly retouch on the fact that I don't think Jax is a bad pick. I think the Jax was picked into a poor composition and could be reassessed in the future games that we see from Suning Gaming. If you're going for a Corki Ezreal composition and need a tank in the roster, something besides the Cho'Gath, maybe you could have the Zac next time. Or if you want to pick something more aggressive in the top lane, Cho'Gath was actually picked more as a lane counter to the Sion, it felt like. Then things can shift for them. Also there's a very easy way to change up what you're going to be picking in the jungle.
Yeah, putting 10 in for Hacker could potentially change the way that EDG ban out champions as well, because there's a very peculiar banning towards Sejuani as well as Skarner.
We also noted, of course, Meiko at the top of the best of 3 series said that Sion adds a flavor of aggression to the side of Suning Gaming, so perhaps that is reflected through the champions of choice. We mentioned the Jarvan, we mentioned the Kha'Zix, always a possibility.
Could change things up for Suning and help them come back into this best 3 series. They're currently sitting 4-2 in their conference, doing okay, doing well so far, but just middle of the pack, whereas EDG, they're looking to try and see if they can be the best in the league after cross-conference, because after we saw Snake drop their games to Invictus Gaming, now they're trying to fight them to see who is #1 in the LPL.
I mean, EDG get first place, don't they, if they win this best of 3, at least for a little bit of time. Of course, they'll have a less games played, I believe, in cross-conference, so regardless, they'll be sitting at first for a bit, and EDG will be hungry to be there. They've had a couple of weeks, Chinese New Year's just gone past, and if they've been playing in the weeks past, then they'd be very prepared to close this one out as a 2-0.
Yeah, they'll be trying to do just that. Both teams are incredibly fast, so this should be a very fast game between the two. We're going to send it over to our casters to take it away.
Thank you, Vish, and we're getting into our second game now between EDG and Suning Gaming. Now, Tien coming in, and I feel like this is probably one of the things you have to do with your Suning, because when you have two formulaic teams, if you run them against each other 100 times, most likely you're probably going to get 100 out of 100, EDG are going to win it. So you have to change something up now to try and upset that balance.
Yeah, but I don't think this will have anything to do with the type of change that they need to do. I think everything actually needs to start in the draft, and not necessarily around the mid-jungle position. Although they'll probably stray away from the Jax this time around. I think it has to do in the bot lane position. You simply cannot give an automatic, devastating, winning to that degree bot lane to EDG. We saw Uzi and Ming perform it very well against Celestial and Mystic just the other day, and now iBoy and Meiko just absolutely shellacked Suning's bot lane with Kog'Maw.
Yeah, definitely want to see Suning Gaming attack them.
I have to say this. Coach Nofe right now, he's on the right side of your screen. Check out his book. That is, EDG give out these manga, like beautiful fan art of their players, but it's just a very, a friendly, just a little bit romantic type of cover. I just find it hilarious that, like, former Rox Tiger coach, now coach of EDG, one of the greatest organizations in League of Legends, and he's like, manga cover, notebook of secrets.
Yeah. I personally like it. Big fan. Suning Gaming, EDG, round 2 coming into this one will be a first pick of Skarner, as it's not going to be banned this time by EDG, so it will go over to Tien.
And finally, we do have not a Jax, but another Skarner. It's going to be a Predator Skarner. It's all about the hard engage, the ability to zip out there. We saw some very creative compositions coming out of not Rogue Warriors, Billy Gaming.
Yep.
I really like their Sivir Skarner combination, so we'll see if Suning have that same creativity, but because you see a Skarner, Meiko's like, easy, Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench, give it to me. I'm going to save that one target you're gunning for, especially if EDG are looking towards another focus on the iBoy composition. It always seems like Suning Gaming are preempting that, though it will be a Kalista in the end, so looking for EDG to take advantage in the early game here, especially around those skirmishes with this pick.
And that's the thing. I knew it was going to be a Kog'Maw bank, so there's no way you're going to give that much lane priority, but EDG still have, you know, the options to go for the Caitlyn, for the Kalista. They're going to find that lane dominance. So I also like the fact that Suning are going to immediately prioritize Varus. It's not going to be banned away from them in second rotation of bans like it was in game number 1. I think this is absolutely the right call. You cannot just straight lose 2v2 that hard, and Varus is one of the few champions that has the push priority, the poke priority, and the dueling potential to just not get blown out of lane.
And Suning Gaming might indeed just lock in their bot lane right here before we get to the second phase. So EDG do not have a chance to start banning away those supports and give Suning Gaming a sub-optimal bottom lane, because this will be the focus here for Suning.
Yeah, so already a very different change-up for Suning. They started with the flex pick. They tried to give XiaoAL a lot of priority depending on how he wanted to sculpt his matchup. This time around, they're like, no. Just get a strong jungler that can just screw over an ADC, and let's get a very strong bottom lane that doesn't get blasted. So already stabilizing from Suning Gaming.
It's also like, well, hang on, if you're just going to pick a tank into the top lane to neutralize, we might as well just focus on bottom lane here, and maybe we'll just go for something more exciting later. However, EDG will pick up the Corki for the middle lane, so SKAL going to get his hands on this one and show Knight how it's done.
Yeah, and that's the question. It's with the priority into the jungle and the bot lane, it means that the top lane and the mid lane are up for grabs. With Scout having the Corki and the Galio being banned, now the Talia being banned, so the other big champion that can follow him around the map when he makes use of his package. Knight, unfortunately, probably isn't going to get a matchup where he's going to be able to do a lot to the rest of his team. So Fury and Yoon, you guys got the priority, but your mid laner is not coming to save you because he's not going to get a roam champion.
It's all going to be on you guys because Talia has been taken away. We'll look towards the second ban now from EDG. While that was a Sejuani pick towards, or ban rather, towards Haro and a Cassiopeia as well. So really just trying to defang Knight in that mid lane.
Yeah, I'm going to take that Jarvan away. I expect for Haro, he'll probably go towards his Rengar or his Kha'Zix, just because that's typically what we've seen, but who knows, maybe he's got a special pick against Skarner.
Maybe. Let's see what it is. But Suning Gaming, 10 seconds left on this one, and do expect it to be the Jarvan. Not going to be the Jarvan. It will be a Gangplank towards Ray. So I'm going to take that one away, and personally, it makes me very happy. Do not want to see another Gangplank in my life.
Yeah, absolutely changed my mind. I hate Gangplank. Okay, real talk. Everyone complains about Zoe, and I get it. Zoe is an obnoxious champion. Gangplank is so much worse. He's got Kleptomancy. He doesn't lose any lane, even when he's theoretically losing and he's pushed under his tower. He's still getting ridiculous amounts of gold, and it's not even like Klepto for the lane and the sustain that it gives you. It's the fact that 20 minutes into the game, he's got like an item and a half over you because he just got so much free gold for losing a lane. Hate that champion. Thank you, Suning. Well done. Well done.
Get rid of that brain-numbing champion. Thank you very much. But it will leave open, unfortunately, the Jarvan. So that's going to be immediately picked up for EDG, going towards Haro.
Poison.
Yeah, pretty much. Camille was also being hovered. The fact that it's managed to make it all the way through these picks and bans is interesting.
No, but here's the genius, though. By leaving the Jarvan open, it means that they're able to get the Sion, because then they're going to priority pick the jungler out of the second rotation of bans. So, and then you take the Sion away from Ray. I think they made the right call. Yes, Haro gets one of his signature champions on the Jarvan, but I would much rather have Haro on Jarvan than Ray on Gangplank.
True, and we also say, you know, signature champion Jarvan in the jungle for pretty much every jungler in the LPL nowadays.
Signature champion.
Yep.
Jarvan.
So Sion goes to the top lane here for XiaoAL, and it will be a Braum into the bottom lane as well. Orianna in the mid lane for Knight, and then the final pick was Shen for Ray. So he's actually just trying to go toe-to-toe with the Sion in the top lane and turn it into a farming frenzy.
He just has a champion ocean. I swear he has played most unique picks of any top laner in the league. Because
this will be his 9th unique pick.
It should be his 10th, actually. He had 9 before this game.
He had 8 before this game.
I have been bested.
Well, you see, 8 plus 1 equals... but no, this will be the
secretly 8.2 means that... Okay, so picking up the Shen. I love Ray as a top laner. We already talked about how versatile and diverse and deep his champion pool is, and the fact that he can play the tanks, that he can play the carries. EDG, of course, will normally always go for him on the tanks because, again, it's all about putting resources into the bottom lane. And what works just as well? Well, when you have a Stand United that can now be on top of a Kalista when you decide to go all in. Also works very well with the Corki. It's a classic combination. Corki, packages in, and if any guy is going to be brave enough to use a package offensively, it will be Scout.
Yeah, we call it the submarine, but it definitely isn't the submarine. It's just like the double special package play.
It's the FedEx.
It's the FedEx. That is the FedEx.
It's
the delivery of the Shen.
Yeah, special delivery right on top of you.
Yeah.
And then you look how Tahm Kench then fits into all of that. It's a very creative composition from EDG. Their ability to get into the backline, their ability to punish in small skirmishes. If this composition ever catches you out of position, you are donezo. You are just dead. And on a team like EDG, who are so clever around their mid-game identity or objective identification, that is very punishing because they find a single pick and then they're probably going to be right next to a tower, the wave's already set up, and it will snowball into something bigger.
Suning Gaming do have something similar though. They have the catch potential of the Skarner, the lockdown, and plus the chain of corruption coming in from Varus, so they will also be looking for their own picks, but they really will be stepping on eggshells coming into our second game. Could be our final one of the night. We'll see what happens in this early game because that will the rest of the game will be reliant on the early game for us. That's what I was going for.
I know, you were caught off guard by the audience still being here.
Yeah, at the first game I was just like, where are you? Where's the crowd chants? And then they all came back. I was not expecting that crowd to be here. There we go.
But congratulations to Meiko! 300 games in the LPL. And what's cool about Meiko is we have gotten to watch this kid effectively grow up on the LPL stage. When he came onto EDG, he looked like he was 12 years old. And we have just seen him become a true man and now the captain of the most dominant team the LPL has ever created.
Yeah, you've chosen an interesting time to say that, as Meiko is actually the one getting blasted currently from Suning Gaming. But he is on Tahm count, so he walks into lane with 830 health. So he's going to be absolutely okay. However, many tab spawn, so we will have to stay in lane now. And
what's interesting is he went for Ignite, and he doesn't have Unsealed Spellbook. So went for the Glacial, so he wants to be that run you down, gobble you up. Tahm Kench, very aggressive forward playstyle, makes sense with the Kalista. But that means he's stuck with Ignite. He is going to constantly have a kill-based summoner, which in lane works really well. Post lane, not so much. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. EDG have shown their hands. They have their jungler start on the top side of the map, so they get immediate access to the creep wave, and they now have a Tahm Kench with an Ignite as well as a Kalista. They're going to kill you in the bottom lane, and they want to do it multiple times.
Yeah, over and over and over again. Took a look at those keystones. It is, of course, Predator for Skarner. One and only, and the top lane will actually be Comet. So the other side of the coin now, seeing this one in the second game here for XiaoAL, as it was taken away from Ray. So he's actually trying to put a bit of punishment down onto this Shen pick in the top lane, try and put him a couple CS behind.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much sustain as the previous pick like the Cho'Gath did, so you can try to whittle him down and get him out of the lane. That said, one of them is mana-based, one of them is energy-based, and if Shen and Ray plays his trades right, he should just be able to outlast.
Yeah, that is the goal there, of course, for every Shen into pretty much every single matchup ever. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we've got Corki facing down Orianna. Scout just looking to farm up right here, get towards that Triforce, and if it comes to it, gets the late game, get the massive crit build, and start nuking people down with all this protection that EDG has.
So I just wanted to point out that Haro has revealed himself by taking Skarner's Shrine?
Spire?
Spire. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Yes.
Crystal Spires.
You don't necessarily need to take them, and what's interesting there is because the jungler started on opposite sides of the map. Of course, Suning would have that information anyway because Meiko and iBoy were immediately in the bottom lane. It's just kind of an extra thing of you're still just giving away your position, you're giving away free information. And I always find it very curious when players choose to take the Spire versus when they choose not to take the Spire.
It's also a bit of free gold, you know. It's not a huge amount, but...
Spire feels weird.
Well, it's from Dominion. You know, they were Spires.
What? I don't recall that game.
Well, it was fast, it was fun, it was Dominion. And that's where Skarner comes from, this is home. Crystal Scar.
You can go back there.
I like to see Skarner. It's got that interesting play style.
You mean a binary play style?
Well, yes, that is definitely true, but it is definitely fun to watch. Suppression champions in general are just pretty fun to watch.
And the reason why they have Skarner, of course, is so they can lock down this guy on your screen, and look at those stats. There's a reason why. I feel like SLZ set the bar. He's like 46% of team's damage share. Let's see you beat that. And iBoy was like 51%.
Absolutely nuts. And it's interesting as well, even if you start combining iBoy's stats with Meiko, they're like first, second in the league as well for almost every single metric. And you said earlier for us, you feel like they're the best bottom lane in the league, and the stats, pretty difficult to disagree with you.
They are the best bottom lane in the league. Until Uzi gets warmed up and until RNG and EDG have their fateful clash over the course of cross-conference, We will never know, and it is iBoy and Meiko.
Until that time, yeah.
No one else is on the cast, so I am lost.
Absolutely fair. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, iBoy is poking Yoon behind his tower, so they are not having a fun time currently in the lane. And the jungle isn't really going to help you. Mid lane's not going to be coming down to help you either. Doesn't really have that roam champion.
And unfortunately, it's another situation where Fury and Yoon are isolated into a losing matchup. Now that said, Skarner will eventually be level 6 and will have some sort of sway or kill pressure in the lane, especially in tandem with Braum, but you're still dealing with a Tahm Kench. So Suning have to really pick and choose how they want to set up any sort of gank potential in that bot lane, especially when you're also then thinking about the Stan United and how Shen's going to fit to all of that. I don't think there's any way that they can really crack it. I think that EDG just have all of their bases covered. You've got the protection for Kench with the Kalista ultimate, the protection for Kalista with Tahm Kench, and the protection for everyone with Shen.
And that's discounting the fact that Scout is probably going to have a special package at points in the game as well, so he might also just turn up to the play. So soon in game, if they want to get this bot lane ahead, it's pretty much 1 in a billion chance. But if they manage to make it happen, maybe that's the way in.
And maybe their strategy isn't necessarily to get the bot lane ahead or even to win it, but simply just to survive it, and then to have a champion like Varus who's going to outscale Kalista and then hit just as hard into the mid game. And then that's kind of like, where do they then break things? There's the potential that maybe they try to make plays happen in the mid lane. Skarner and Orianna have a lot of kill pressure, a lot of hard CC between the two of them. It's then just competing with the Shen and making sure you have good tracking on Jarvan so he doesn't muck things up.
At the same time, there will be, you know, a match in terms of scaling. You've got Scout in the mid lane, and Ray as well be able to protect those carries as the game goes on. Sion, however, doing a Sion thing, pushing all the way into the tower over and over and over again. Top laners will not really be seeing much of their junglers, though. Probably not going to get any ganks into the top lane, so pretty much waiting until level 6. Both junglers just played Farming Frenzy right here. Really just trying to gun towards that ultimate.
I mean, Haro naturally has more kill pressure or gank pressure because he does have hard CC with Shen as well as his own CC and Flag and Drag, but he doesn't have to do anything. His bot lane is winning. In fact, the most important thing for him to do is to create a safety net of vision, which you can see on the backside of that Dragon Pit. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 wards, including the neutral vision over River, just to make sure that Skarner doesn't pop over with a Blast Cone and try to gank from bot side River.
Just a line of wards. Yeah, there's actually no way to get into the bottom side unless you're already there. So Tian will even be revealed in just a second as he turns this corner. And we'll be taking his second red buff spawn right here. First Dragon's also going to be another Infernal, so being pretty much blessed with Infernals this game.
That's all I want for Christmas. A Suning EDG game with Infernal Drakes.
Get them out
chain them.
Yeah, pretty much that. Because that will just accelerate the game and how the pace already works, you know? Like, whoever gets the early advantage most likely going to just continue to get advantages in the game. And Infernal will speed that one up even more. So
I also feel it's just a big advantageous buff to EDG and their natural playstyle because they are such a bot lane focused team. To then also have an Infernal Drake on top of it, just so much more incentive to play a style that they were already going to play.
Yeah. Doubling down on that fact, and iBoy is just getting further and further ahead. Just in this 2 versus 2 has almost opened up a 3-wave advantage over to himself, and Fury, it's going to take him a while to get back to that lane. I don't think he's going to get the mini wave, so it's going to stick. 3-wave advantage to iBoy.
And so we see EDG's plan. Now, Tien is finally level 6. Again, his big partner in crime is Knight. They came from the same background, same experience playing together in the LSPL, so you know, we're talking about maybe Fury and Yoon with the Varus, and the Braum priority wasn't to beat out iBoy and Meiko, but simply to survive them. And the other option is playing around that mid lane. And now that you have access to both the suppression as well as the shockwave, there is potential there. But first and foremost, Skarner has to clear out this vision.
Yeah. Needs to do step 1.
There we go.
There we go. So, yeah, Tien is at it currently, but really needs to get into these plays. We haven't seen a play just yet from Tien on this Skarner, but it will happen at some point. There is one thing that Skarner does, and that's run towards you with his ultimate, ready to go, and he'll find a priority target.
He gets to do so right now because he's got the backup from Orianna. Haro, you do not want a piece of this.
No, he does not. He really wants a Scout to come down and try and pressure, but Tien is able to challenge his vision. Haro, at the very least, will clear out the zombie ward, so not a lot of this vision is going to stick from Suning Gaming, but they can at least know if EDG are trying to move towards this dragon. So even though EDG has the pressure right here, it's not turning into too much just yet.
Have to be very careful, though. Meiko now has access to Abyssal Voyage, so if Tien goes for this, Tahm, Kench, and Kalista can be right there. Choo-choo!
Choosing to ult back into the top lane. So we'll not be looking to group up anytime soon. I mean, he doesn't have the teleport either, so won't even be able to teleport to the play. but Suning Gaming will not be seeing their Sion for a long time. It will be at least 2 or 3 minutes.
Which is unfortunate because he doesn't have TP, he doesn't have his ultimate, and Stand United is available. And I have a feeling we're about to see Shen. You're going to actually see Ray on your screen right now if you check out the minimap. As soon as Haro was in trouble, Ray backed up towards his tower. So EDG are very clearly looking for this play. It's now just a matter of Suning know it's coming, EDG know it's coming, so how patient are Suning willing to be to set up the perfect play where even if Shen gets involved, it doesn't matter.
So Banner of Command is the first item for XiaoAL in the top lane. I mean, he's definitely not being pressured by Shen, but at the same time, there are people on EDG who can pretty handily take care of one of those promoted minions. I know we saw this the other day from a Sion, but that's because it was double AP carry. Right here, there's multiple people who can clear it.
I'm personally a fan of the Righteous Glory rush for Sion. You know, Banner, I'm never really going to criticize a pro's build too heavily, just because it's not really my area of expertise. And, you know, at the end of the day, I just want to say that the pros know better. Obviously, the strategy here is push, 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 push. And he is making quite a dent on this tower, especially now that he has his Banner of Command minion. See how I silver line that? Dent on the tower. Yep. Literal dent.
Oh, it's getting there. But it's just really annoying more than anything else if you're laning across from this, but it happens once every 120 seconds, so it's not going to be annoying for another 2 minutes from now, so I'm not really sure if it's worth it, but we'll have to see. Maybe further down the line.
Well, maybe it's worth it if Tien also gets involved. You can see that Skarner is spending a lot of time there, and again, we kind of talked about what options does he really have, because bot lane doesn't seem to be one. It looks like top lane is the call.
Ooh, yeah, instant flash out from Ray, but the minion wave is already dead, so he knows he can buy enough time with the flash, and Haro was on his way to the top lane. So that was actually really well played by Ray, just using the whole situation.
Also feels very desperate. Like, I understand Sion has push priority. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Scout's looking for a kill into the mid lane. Might is low. The shockwave's still there. That's something that Scout has to be mindful of, but that was almost a kill.
Yeah, also needs to be mindful of the heal, which is why he didn't want to commit his flash to that one. Back towards the top lane. So yes, XiaoAL has had constant push pressure, which means that there's access into Haro's red side jungle for Tien on the Skarner, and you can see that throughout this entire game, he has been placing a pretty deep vision on that side of EDG's jungle, but again, the unfortunate thing is that it's Skarner and Sion versus a Shen, and Shen's had his flash for pretty much the entire game. He finally just had to burn it, and the kill pressure on a level 9 Shen when he has taunt and flash is not high between those two champions. So, you know, they're looking for something. I don't really think they're ever going to find it there. And we're kind of going in circles for Suning, and it's 12 minutes into the game, and we haven't seen a Skarner ultimate.
Yeah, we haven't really found anything to open up this game, and yeah, we have been talking about how important it is, not only just for the bottom lane of Suning, but everyone to try and at least find an advantage. I mean, so far, the game is equal in terms of gold, but you always have that feeling like it's not going to stay that way for long when you have EDG and they have a composition like this. Eventually, iBoy's going to get to a point where he's just way stronger than your opposing AD carry.
And I just feel like EDG have had a better read on the draft. You know, against Billy Gaming, when Amazing J was just destroying people, they were undefeated on the Vladimir, they pull out the Cho'Gath. Yes, we'd seen it globally, specifically in the EULCS, but they had the answer for that pick. Now with Skarner really dominating the LPL and rising up in higher priority, not just here, but also globally, EDG pull out the Shen. And for me, Shen makes perfect sense into a champion like Skarner. It's the Tahm, Kench, and the Shen. Like, how are you ever going to kill whoever you grab?
Yeah. It's either we can deny the person you're grabbing, or you've just gotten the buy one, get one free. And it's like, actually, no, I didn't really want the Shen, but I guess it's coming as a package deal here.
But you can see the plan here. So multiple pings down into the top side tower. I guess Suning are going to decide we're not going to make any sort of play. We're actually going to go 13 minutes in the game without using the Skarner ultimate, and we're just going to try to whittle down the top tower. Now, what they should do is it'll force EDG, because they don't want to give up a tower for free, to make a counter play.
And the ping just went down, I assume, by Ray right there onto his tower, saying this is where we're gonna die soon if XiaoAL continues pushing. Ray does have his teleport though.
And boom, there you go, Banner of Command. If they get that tower first, then I'm all for the itemization.
Hey, it all works out. 25% remaining on that tower. And no one's going to help him. Haro is on the bottom side of the map. He's around the Inferno Dragon. He knows if he goes top, then there's probably going to be a play made by Suning towards that area. And Tien is in the bottom lane as well. This could be a breaking point for the game for sure. Well, he's going to catch Meiko, but iBoy's right behind him, and so is Haro. So maybe not the catch of the day for Tien.
I almost feel that Tian should just commit topside and really help Sion push that one down. The only thing is that unfortunately it's an Infernal Drake, so he can't go top lane because he knows it'll trade that objective.
Okay, hang on. What's going on here? Are they playing Pokemon? Like, both of them have Banner of Command now. They're just going to battle cannon minions.
It's the only way to beat Banner of Command, balls!
It's just another Banner of Command. Okay. Infernal Dragon's going to fall to EDG, who have that bottom lane pressure. So there we go. First Infernal of the game. Next one's going to be Cloud. That's a little bit boring.
It was a rock and a hard place for Suning. It was a hard call to make. Unfortunately, EDG are like, it's fine. We will make the call for you. Our bot lane is destroying yours, and we have access over this Drake.
Man, as funny as it is, this is actually a great answer from Ray, because now XiaoAL is going to find it pretty difficult to knock over that tower. He can't use the banner.
And he's got Tiamat. You're not getting anywhere near it.
It's not happening. I mean, if you look at the timers, both of them just popped it on their cannon minions. So they're just going to even each other out. It's going to take a long time for XiaoAL to knock it down by himself, so Tian has to go up there if he wants to tip the scales.
And now we're back into isolated lanes where nothing is going to break for Suning, and they're just passively watching themselves losing the game.
I just find it hilarious watching both of them just sit next to their cannon minions and duke it out.
Here's the thing, though. Ray would have to catch that wave before it hit the tower, and he's still relatively low. EDG are now finally, like I said, they're forced. The tower is going to go down. They want to make a trade for an objective. Suddenly, all of EDG are bottom.
All bottom lane, but the Chain of Corruption has landed. Fate's Call is good, but here comes the teleport out from XiaoAL. Wants to try and close in around them. Has the ultimate, and will pop it. Moving towards iBoy right here. Gets the knockup. The Shen ultimate comes down, but here comes the turnaround out from EDG. Ray with the lockdown. Shockwave on top, but it's almost ineffective. Almost doesn't do anything. And Tian will be the one to fall. First blood to EDG.
So Suning, they make the right call. They eventually push down the tower. We knew then it was going to be a play bottom, and unfortunately Suning, it just feels like they don't have that veteran patience. You know, they're getting a little bit
antsy.
Yeah, that's a perfect word. I was going to say bored. I was like, not bored, antsy, like agitated. They have to do something. You kind of see it a lot in Alistar players when they sit in the lane, and it's just like, it's a Melee versus Melee matchup, and they're like, I shouldn't do something, but I have to go in.
Yeah.
It's kind of what Suning look like right now.
One big Alistar. But they did manage to get the first tower of the game, and that will go to XiaoAL. That was solo gold as well, so this will be a pretty danky Sion as this game goes on. He's already completed his Abyssal Mass, so it did work out in the end, but if you look towards what EDG have, they have the kill, and they also have that dragon.
Yeah, and the big thing is the Infernal as we take another look at this. And it's so hard to kill anyone on this team. The Kalista ultimate comes out defensively, and then it's used offensively to stall out Tian. Meiko follows up with a flash to create distance from the Skarner ultimate. I initially saw the Stand United. I was like, oh, well, I wish Ray would have chosen more of a front tanky-based target as opposed to Kalista, but better safe than sorry. And they still managed to find the hard CC on Tian Skarner anyway. Yeah,
they get the kill. The tower didn't go down, however, so EDG were not able to follow up on that kill. But Suning Gaming, they move the Sion back to the top lane. Actually, do not choose to swap anything up here. The bottom towers have not fallen just yet. And XiaoAL will continue pushing.
Well, the thing is that if they move their bottom lane top side, then they're just going to lose another tower and trade the objectives. Or if they keep the lanes how they are, they actually
try and keep it.
Yeah, they feel pretty comfortable that between the Braum and the Varus that they can hold the bottom lane or at least continue to stall it out. So again, I like the lane assignments from Suning.
Yeah, they managed to keep that one tower alive for them. So now it's looking towards EDG and what they can pull out next. Where is their next play going to be? Because top lane is going to neutralize itself. Mid lane, Corki's getting bigger. He has picked up the BF sword now on top of his Triforce.
The next play should be taking advantage over the fact that XiaoAL doesn't have his TP, and the Stand United cooldown will be up and available before then. Needs to usually be used in tandem with either Jarvan or Corki, so hopefully one of those champions for EDG can get freed up to make a play bottom with the Stand United. Until then, they're probably just going to continue to sit in their respective lanes.
Yeah, it's got to wait a little bit for those cooldowns. Ray's ultimate is just about to come up in about 10 seconds from now. Yeah, that's lit up like a Christmas tree currently in the bottom lane.
It's a literal circle.
There's a circle of vision, yeah. Screw the triangle. We've upgraded to circle vision. Bot lane iBoy just getting a bit of damage onto Yoon as well. Just prepping this bot side. Still has the advantage in terms of farm. It's about 3 waves ahead, but hasn't accelerated since that. And the wave is definitely more neutralized, more back to the middle of the lane here. So soon he will be able to push out. And they also have Skarner in the bottom side. Looks like he's looking to challenge blue right now.
Well, he's got enough vision. They've put enough gold into it that he needs to get it, which I think he did.
Yeah, he did. Smite came down. But Haro and Scout not particularly happy, and the bottom lane is also collapsing. In comes the Shen, but the engage comes out from Haro onto Tian. He's separated from the team, but the Shadow Dash misses rather. But Tian, unfortunately, he's in enemy territory.
Wiggle! Wiggle away!
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do. The zigzag's not going to help you. Unfortunately, when you're that far into the jungle, the teleport will be used back to top lane though for Ray to defend the tower.
And now bottom lane, hold on though. They're going to turn this.
Yep, that was right through the goalpost, and Fury is now under attack. Meiko has the great help, but that's going to have to be saved out right here. Whoa, he comes back in and still gets the kill. What? You need to kill this man. Meiko, he's still staying in. The flash forwards, it's not going to be enough. The 2v2 double kill.
Oh, it was so close! A great flash from Fury to try to turn the 2v2, but unfortunately, iBoy still sitting on the heel, so not even close, baby.
Oh man, that feels so bad. And the Relic Shield proc came up as well for Meiko to get a bit of health back as well when he was low. And that's going to be 2 kills plus the tower in the bottom lane.
Okay, so here we go. Here's the replay. You're just looking at this, you're like, they're about to turn this. They're sitting on both of their ultimates. And as soon as Fury splits the wickets there, it's the immediate turn. Goes into the stopwatch, is like, I've got one opportunity. Flashes the knockup, he knows it's coming. Then iBoy gets the rend, redirects aggro by using his stopwatch. Yoon, unfortunately, I don't necessarily agree with that stopwatch usage right there, but tried to make it worth. But like I said, iBoy was sitting on heal the entire time, so not even close.
Yeah, lots of dodges coming out as well, and it was really just down to a mechanical display, and that's one of those tilters, you know? It's like it could go one way, it could go the other. Had the Chain of Corruption landed, maybe it would have gone the other way, but not the case, unfortunately, and that's going to be such a big loss for Suning Gaming. The fact that they were able to keep that tower initially, but because of that 2v2 play, lose that tower now.
And they're just getting antsy. You know, the fact that they even went for a play like that. Yes, as soon as they threw the ultimate, they're like, okay, we're in trouble now. But it's the fact that they're even going for that.
They didn't need to.
And this is now 3 instances where Suning have jumped the gun, and then EDG have just punished them so hard, whereas EDG looked totally fine to just sit back and be like, 21 minutes in the game, 3 kills, excuse me, 4 kills, like, they don't care. They are unperturbed by this and continue to stick to their game plan, whereas Suning, they start strong with conviction, but then they start to slide backwards.
Yeah. And EDG, they're just kind of soaking pressure and also getting kills on top of that as well. 4 kills over to them. Distribution is pretty strong as well. Meiko has 1 kill. You maybe prefer that to be elsewhere, but apart from that, the kills are exactly where they need to be right now for EDG. And they've moved their middle lane will now be the bot lane. They have the dual lane ready to push into Knight, so looking to knock down this tower now.
And there's no way they're getting that tower, especially when Orianna has the blue buff. So again, it's kind of the question of how do EDG crack the tower. They should be able to exploit their advantage over the bot lane because they can push that much farther in. Unfortunately, it's 22 minutes into the game, so they don't have access to Rift Herald to help them out there. So they need to find something creative to deal with Knight in this mid lane, because it will not fall.
That's going to take a while, but they are moving towards the top side of the map into the river right now.
I mean,
actually, well,
say that,
there
but
you go.
I guess
just walk there.
Knight just leaves the lane.
That works. You just ask Knight politely to leave mid, and then you just take it.
Everything is falling apart for Suning.
What a disaster. Well, I guess the top lane tower is now the only outer turret remaining now for Suning, and EDG will probably be looking towards it now.
And that is such a huge blow. Naturally, when you lose mid lane tower, it gives you the most control and information over the map. Everyone knows that, but now EDG's ability to start cracking in behind the top lane tower, getting deep vision over the Suning blue side jungle so they can prep themselves for Baron. It just gives them access to Baron, gives them access for picks, gives them access to the top lane tower. And again, this composition is Kench, Shen, Corki. The mobility, the ability to find picks is astronomical. So this is a very terrifying open map comp from EDG.
The fact that they can now push into that jungle, they can do pretty much whatever they want. Ray's even picked up the Titanic Hydra now, so he's even better at dealing with these pesky promoted cannon minions. And I actually, have we seen a Skarner ultimate this game? Did we see one in the bottom side? I actually don't know if we did in the fight, because TK flashed away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we're 23 minutes in, we haven't seen a single Skarner ultimate. And right now won't do it either because iBoy's going to be saved up by Meiko. Good luck for Suning Gaming to try and find a pick right there. But, I mean, this is the composition from EDG. They have multiple ways to save people.
Oh, no. 23 minutes and no Skarner? I want the counter. I want that stat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he just hasn't used it. At this point, I would just walk up to anyone, a tank, and just be like, okay, I just need to get this down.
How is he going to kill anyone? Even if he grabs Jarvan, flag and drag. Grabs Shen, taunt. If he grabs anyone else, Shen. Tahm, Kench. Kalista ultimate.
Yep.
I guess maybe you grab Corki.
Yeah, but then you buy one, get one free. You get a Ray on top of that. You don't really want him in the back line.
He can't grab anyone. I don't blame Tien there.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Yeah, you just can't grab anyone. And this is just almost a major weakness. I believe it was a first pick as well, actually, coming from Suning Gaming.
Now that said, where the Skarner is definitely doesn't have a lot of options and viability for him, there still is a lot of damage on Suning if it comes to a 5v5. Orianna's now completed 2 items, has the Morellas, has the Ludens, as well as Varus has his... He just sold that. He got it back. He's got a Rage Blade as well as his Hurricane, so not the Wits End just quite yet. I wanted to focus more on the wave clear, which makes sense because they're trying to stall out the game. But Suning, yes, Skarner's not working for them, but the other assets of their team comp are still very much powerful.
They're definitely playing with one less puzzle piece. That is a control ward right behind the duo lane, so a potential for XiaoAL to find his way up there. Not choosing to do so right now. Tien, not going to be knocked up by Haro, but will be a bit of damage there with the electrocute damage.
He's gonna get him! No!
He wanted it.
Oh.
He saw it. It was in the sights.
He saw Tahm Kench. He just made eye contact.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, you're the captain.
Not going to happen, unfortunately. 25 minutes in now. EDG maintaining these 4 kills. And that ward is still there.
The Observer is like quietly chanting XiaoAL, like, you see it?
Like, it's right here.
Do you know it's there?
This is a teleport ward.
That guy's biased.
Yeah. Not going to happen, though, even with EDG moving back towards the top lane, because they will eventually want to try and crack this tower, especially for Baron control right here. They're still able to push in with this vision line, as you can see.
Yeah, and EDG are just clearing out the vision. They've got all of those pinks, and they want to make a pick, because they need to crack top lane tower, as well as the Baron. But it's very hard to do now that Varus, like we said, prioritizing the Hurricane over the Wits End, so he has the necessary wave clear. And it still is a Kalista, you know, lowest damage of any of the marksmen come late game. So EDG bringing the big guns. They're like, Kalista can't do it on her own. Get the package.
Let's go. Stepping forwards. Ray has his ultimate as well, ready to jump in, come with the FedEx. The top lane tower is about to fall, and Tien...
He used it!
He used it! The first time he uses... There we go, 100% success rate.
You missed, what, none of the shots that you don't take?
That's true, that's true. We didn't see it, unfortunately, so you're going to have to do another one for us there, Tien.
Does it count if we didn't see
it? If a Skarner ults in the woods, did it really happen?
The 26-minute legendary Skarner ultimate gets its very own replay. All eyes on Tien. He's got him. Just easy. Walk in the cake.
Knock up.
Walk in the cake.
Shockwave.
Whoa. I commonly say things
I know. I feel like you
backwards.
just committed at this point, because I was fine just to keep going. I wasn't even going to mention it, Frosk.
I say things like wash, rinse, and repeat, and
that's
cream
right.
of the cream.
Yeah, cream of the cream was a good one.
Walk in the cake.
But you just commit. That can just be your thing, Frosk, and the Playboy players will let you have it. We'll let you have the moment. But there we go. We've got that kill for Suning Gaming. It's not going to be a perfect game. They also managed to pick up the first tower of the game. Infernal, however, will be spawning in 50 seconds. So multiple places for EDG now to play around, and both teleports are up. So EDG have many ways to play this map.
That said, Suning also have the same thing. Like I said, Orianna and Varus are very, very strong at this point in the game, and as long as they get control over their side lanes, this is actually a big beacon or an opportunity for Suning to get back into the game, which is actually why I like EDG's priority around the Baron. They want to make sure that they have all of the information so that if they feel that Suning are too close or are too set up for the Infernal, they can say, okay, we're going for the Baron. Or maybe that they've juked Suning are trying to guard the Baron, and they get the Infernal for free.
There are opportunities, especially with this Sion here as well, capitalizing on that ultimate. We'll see if it will happen, though, because Infernal's about to spawn, so this is the opportunity for Suning Gaming. Can they find this fight? Yes, Scout and iBoy, very scary, but you're right. They do have the tools. They do have the damage right now. If that Shockwave lands in the right place, hits multiple people, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be going down.
Yeah, but they need to engage, because if they let Corki continue to pick at them, Scout is sitting on 3 items. We talk about how Orianna and Varus are strong. Guess what? Corki's real strong right now as well. So it's kind of the combination of, can they force the all-in engage, or are they going to allow EDG and Ray to chip away at them?
I mean, they're kind of pressured to make something happen, but they're sitting right on top of a ward right now, unfortunately, and Ray is getting everything in the bottom side. He just took an inner tower.
And this is the difference between EDG and other LPL teams. Any other LPL team would have started a fight over Infernal, would have started a fight over Baron. EDG instead make the long play. They set up their vision around the Baron, they set up their neutral vision around the Infernal, and they just dance with Suning. And they say, you're going to step on the wrong toe, and we're going to kick you out. I don't know where I was going. It's fine. We're dancing.
But now the problem is, iBoy pretty much just leashed the Dragon out for Suning Gaming, and they will pick it up. That actually goes over to Fury right there, and we're going to have another Inferno in this game. But Suning Gaming did manage to pick up at the end. Tien, he was looking. He saw Haro.
He's found his confidence. He's like, okay, it's Jarvan.
He's seen the one target he can kill, and he's just like, yes, this is the one. But Meiko was there, unfortunately, made eye contact with him. So mid tower looking to be on the docket here for Suning Gaming. Scout also coming down. He doesn't have the package, but he's very scary. So probably going to signal Suning backing away.
Wow, and where Tien has found his confidence, Suning have not. You even had Sion that had control or priority up into the river, and yeah, you're competing with Stan United.
Oh,
this
okay.
is auspicious.
Well, Yoon's going to step up, and he knows everybody from EDG is on this currently. In comes the teleport as well, right down on top of the standard, in fact.
Oh,
he misses the shockwave. Great dodge coming out, and now Tien is not where he wants to be. Everybody focus firing on top of him, and he'll go down, plus the Baron to EDG. Abyssal Voyage looking to cut someone off, chooses the wrong direction, unfortunately. And Suning Gaming, the rest of them will make it out, but in comes the minion wave. Look like tower going to fall.
Let me tell you, iBoy can definitely dodge a wrench.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Flashes over the Baron, dodges the shockwave, doesn't get caught, turn on to Suning. And that could not have gone better. You said it was auspicious, you said it was risky, but EDG, they knew they could play well in the moment, and now they can go for the engage. Haro, he's got Ray on top of him as well to arrive into the play. Everyone stopwatches, but that's only a timeout for a second. That's going to be a kill on tonight. All the damage dealers are down, and Fury, he's free firing, but he simply doesn't have the damage right now. Ray is able to lock him down. The rest of the team is low, but they can now turn this one around onto the inhib. In comes Tien though, he's back from spawn. No one was looking at that death time, and Ray may actually fall for this one. In comes Tien. He's chasing someone down. He has the ultimate. He's found him. Flash comes forwards, and he's on to iBoy. Meiko looks at that one. Nope, not going to save you today because I've got my own things to worry about. I will also die. 3 kills for 1. And Suning do manage to repel the offense.
And finally, EDG get a taste of Suning's hyphiness. They get a little bit too excited, try to go and force an inhib right there, and are rightfully punished. So several of the Barons down. I believe only 2 left on Corki and Jarvan there. Which is important because it means that you can't apply Baron to all 3 lanes.
So EDG, they'll be stopped here. They've been thwarted from getting the rest of the base. They managed to take down the inhibitors. That's obviously going to hurt significantly when trying to push the other lanes, but good stuff for Suning Gaming here. They were able to punish back around, even though the front line was very tanky. Eventually, everyone else was already too low.
I'm going to say that this was all Haro and Ray. Meiko didn't look very connected on the initial part of that play. Haro and Ray, though, right on the same page. They decided to go very deep. EDG jump after their 2 newest teammates and jump a little bit too far.
Yeah, and Fury got a lot of time to pre-fire. It took a long time for that damage really to mount up, but eventually it did, and was able to kill Shen. And then Tien, he's back from spawn, and he died a long time before this play, so he's like, now is my chance. Finds iBoy, Meiko quickly turns around and does the 180. He's like, nah, none of this, not going to go in for this play.
All I'm saying is that if you take the highlight plays of every time Skarner has pressed R, he's looked like a god this game.
True, you can chain them together. 2 out of 2.
1, 3, and 2. Not a bad KDA either.
For Skarner, yeah. Jumps in there, kills the target. But now EDG are back to full health. You know, those opportunities are going to arise. If Sion actually looks for an engage into the mid lane, jumps onto Meiko, but he doesn't quite get in there far enough. Just the kind of tip landed there, and now Haro in with Ray. They're pounding down onto Fury. But now they're kind of trapped. The rest of the team can't really get in there, and Scout will try and use the opportunity to jump in, but Ray, he's already low. It was both the tanks just cornered, and the rest of the team couldn't really help them. So Ray, so close to dying, will manage to escape, but Haro is dead.
And I hate to say it, but this game is really on a timer for EDG, and they might have gotten a little bit too overzealous, overexcited when they tried to take the top lane inhib because they knew it. Because at this point, they're struggling to kill the tank line in Sion and Skarner. Again, it's just a Kalista. Majority of your damage output is now going to come from Scout on that Corki, and that's still, you know, it's not the greatest when you have a single damage threat at 32 minutes into the game.
I feel like similar problems to what happened in the top lane engage, right, Frost? Like, reading from this wrong hymn sheet, because you see Haro and Ray, they both go in. Like, Haro comes in, ultimate down on top of him with the Stan United. It's like, okay, well, the tanks are in. Where's everyone else?
Good Sion and Orianna zone is really what it was, and Scout tried to make the hero play right there, and the issue is that it wasn't really a front-to-back team fight, but if these team fights do go front-to-back, Kalista can't kill Sion and Skarner.
It's not going to happen. It's down to Scouts to try and reach those squishies, so the idea was good, but maybe even a bit late. In the first place, it was Haro getting caught, so you can actually go back to the root causes.
But then it's the case of, okay, Tian has found his confidence. He knows that he does have a selectable target in Jarvan, so either Haro and Meiko need to team up and make sure that, you know, something is happening or there is follow-up for Jarvan if he is going to take such a vital ultimate. But yeah, these team fights are going to get really tricky for EDG, and this kind of reminds me of their series against Team WE in game number 2, which went to like 55 minutes, where EDG's composition just unfortunately ran out of steam. And again, it was another Kalista comp, so EDG do have a habit where they put themselves on a clock, and then they're just not quite fast enough.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem right there, and it was Haro really looking for those engages both times. Second time was more getting caught, but now EDG, if you look towards their situation right now, you know, Varus is getting bigger and bigger. You know, the outscaling is starting to happen, and while iBoy still does have the gold advantage and he's staying ahead of the curve, eventually that curve's going to catch up. You know, Fury's going to get there. He's got the Infinity Edge now. The crit is starting to come together for him. Mid lane, Orianna, if she hits that shockwave onto the squishies, they're going to die.
It's not even that. It's not just the... I mean, when we talk about outscaling, we usually talk about like the carries outscaling the other carries, but it's the tanks. The tanks have outscaled EDG's carries, and that's the big problem.
Yeah, Scout's going to have to try and cut through them pretty much by himself at his front to back, but not really looking for that front to back fight right here for EDG.
There's a lot of gargoyles in this game. That is too many.
Yeah, there is many.
That item is
many
just
tanks.
a fun ruiner. A good item. I'm not criticizing it and saying it's bad. It's obviously very good.
It's too good. Yeah, super good. EDG managed to pick up another Infernal Dragon while all that was happening, so it will be their second of the game, met by one from Suning. So definitely going to help when it gets towards these team fights. And iBoy has also picked up the Blade of the Ruin King here as well, so we'll have a little bit of percentage damage to help chip away at those tanks on frontline for Suning.
So the big issue is that this late into the game, there's not a lot of slots for spare control wards as we start completing more and more of this itemization. So we're entirely reliant on either zombie wards or the supports themselves. And when games come down to playing around Elder Dragon, playing around Baron, playing around a single team fight, not having the necessary vision can be the make or break difference of walking into a bad, sticky situation, especially when one team has a Skarner and the other team has, you know, Corki, Shen, Tahm, Kench.
Yeah, not something you want to see in the Dark Alley. Ray, however, has to flash over the wall, and Sion, he wants him though. Can he get in range for the Impale? Yes, he can. And Scout, I mean, he can't really do anything right now. The rest of the team isn't here, so Ray will die by his lonesome in the bottom lane.
And this is tried and true. We saw this many seasons ago, that if there's a Shen in the game, one of the best strategies is just to gank the Shen. It used to be when Teleport first started coming up as a summoner spell up into the top side, that the strategy was, okay, instead of allowing the TP to just constantly join the fights, you actually kill the TP first, and then you look for the other fight. Now, that said, EDG are a team that will always position themselves, so they're going to get something and trade across the map. So they trade Ray, they get the mid lane tower. It's still not an inhib, though.
It isn't, but this is Baron spawning with Ray down for 25 seconds. So if Suning Gaming want to look for a play, if they want to go for the Hail Mary, now's the time to do it. And indeed, they have engaged the Baron. Haro's waiting over the wall, looking for his chance to go for this steal. And Scout, he's got the package. He's got the ability to nuke everybody in this pick and lock them into the oven. It will be secured out from Yoon, though. Suning Gaming have the Baron. This needs to be a teamfight win coming out from EDG. However, it will not happen. Haro jumps in and dies by himself. And EDG, they're looking to chase with these three members. They have Ray up, but it's not going to happen right here, and Suning Gaming, they're catching back up.
Scout was looking real scary with that package. I was afraid that he was perhaps going to go for a way too hero of a play, but he decides to pull the reins back, doesn't burn the package, especially with Ray coming up, but the damage has been done. Suning have the Baron, Suning have the item advantage, Suning have the tank advantage, and now Suning should have control of the game.
Yeah, and this is a massive problem. You know, we were talking about these two teams and how it will turn out. Like, it's likely to be a fast game. The first game was very indicative of how we expected this series to go, but Suning Gaming managed to find the crack in EDG's army. You know, they went a little too deep in the top lane. Haro gets caught a second time. Those two fights lead into what we're seeing right now from Suning. And now they're actually on the offensive for the first time in this series.
The thing is that Suning and EDG are both teams that are really good at understanding how their compositions work and where their win conditions are, and then consistently playing to those conditions and being patient. Yes, Suning have been a bit more impatient than EDG this series, but that's fine because they got over the final hurdle. Their comp is now fully online. They are very terrifying, and with the Baron, they should be able to walk down a lot of damage.
Yeah, mid lane inner will drop right here. TN and XiaoAL able to step up. The carriers can stand behind. That was probably unnecessary.
It is invincible.
It is very difficult
It's
to
no
kill.
longer
iBoy managed to
invincible.
step up, unfortunately, so needs to zone away iBoy. He's the one who can really deal with this. Scout has a lot of magic damage right now, so he's not going to be the greatest to clear it away, but iBoy will shred through that to promote a cannon minion.
That was an epic shutdown. I wanted to see Corki versus Cannon Creep for a good 10 minutes.
Oh, it would take a long, long time. But we're almost 40 minutes on the clock, and Suning Gaming were able to take one tower from the Baron, so that's part of a Baron power play, but the bot lane is pushing, so someone will need to deal with that.
And so the question now is, Suning are in the driver's seat. How in the world do EDG slow this down? And it's quite simple. It's with a pick. So now all eyes need to be on Scout, and they need to be on Meiko, because those are your champions that have the added mobility that can create those type of picks. Who are they trying to pick off? Well, naturally, it's going to be Fury or Knight.
But Tien, at the same time, is looking for his own picks. He's located Scout.
He is a really overzealous. Like, I understand that he feels confident now, 1, 3, and 5 on the Skarner, but when everyone's running around with pretty much full itemization, he is not. He is actually still a very, very poor Skarner.
Yeah, relatively squishy when you look at Scout, who is basically full item build right now and has the QSS. So even if Tien lands the Impale, QSS will be able to get him out of that situation. Whereas also try and take away resources or remove the red buff. That's actually really good for a split pusher.
Yeah, and so EDG's strategy right now was to place defensive vision. You look at their map, you can see everything is lit up, and they're using this defensive vision to safely walk their wave clear to priority lanes, clear out, grab some gold. Naturally, they can't defend something like an outer tower at 40 minutes into the game, so that one's going to fall for free. But otherwise, they haven't given a lot of ground on this Baron. You know, Suning weren't able to crack any of the inhib towers, so this is actually a great defense from EDG, and the Baron buff is just about to fall off.
What the Baron buff did in the end for Suning was get them back to equal footing, where they can now challenge for something like the Elder Dragon now coming in 30 seconds for EDG and Suning Gaming. So EDG were looking towards this.
The thing is that Suning need to kind of find this confidence now and try to execute on the play and just kind of cover up the nameplates and not believe that they're facing EDG, because they had the advantage before they got the Baron. This wasn't, you know, a defensive, like, swing us back into the game Baron. This was supposed to be the, okay, we're in control now. We've got the Baron. We're calling the shots. And they're still being driven by the tempo of EDG.
They're being pushed out into their jungle as well. You know, EDG able to step on top of the dragon. Case in point, really. You got Ray in the top lane. He's pushing away. This is instantly going to be started up because you have this Kalista, you know, going to be able to rend out for a lot of damage. And Suning Gaming are very slow to display. I feel like the other dragon's just going to die before this even happens. Yeah, Tien takes one look at it, and it's like at 1,000 HP already.
And now you're starting to see kind of the cracks and why I said in game number 1 that EDG just kind of feel like the better Suning Gaming, that this is Suning, you know, if you give them a couple of years, if you give them some more experience, some more veterans on this roster.
Not the case, and unfortunately, Fury looked like he got chunked out as well, so we didn't see exactly how that happened, but also one of the reasons why Suning would find it pretty difficult to try and contest that objective. And now you have this Elder Dragon with 3 dragons already on EDG, plus the double Infernals. I
was going to say, is double Infernal Elder Dragon enough to get Kalista over the line, where she actually has kill threat on a lot of these team members?
Yeah, try and make her relevant again with that extra bit of true damage. Mid lane's going to clear it out though. There's a pretty good amount of wave clear coming in from Suning Gaming. Trying to push this tower is difficult, but at the same time, you can also just tank this one up, take it down to half, and plus there is an open inhib, so Ray's going to be there.
You've got to do something right now. They're literally just getting torn apart by EDG. The fact that Kalista and Corki just got to face tank a tower and take it down to more than 50% HP, come on. You have so many engage tools.
Yeah, where's the call? But we're getting back to the situation. The mid lane doesn't need to be aggressive. Top lane's going to fall. There's a massive minion wave in the bot lane tower. All of Suning move towards the mid lane. EDG can see this clear as day. They can step up, they can poke, they can back away. They've gotten the inhib. They can play this slow, and now Knight has to respond to the bottom lane.
And EDG are now just flooding Suning's base. Ray has position where he can look to sideswipe them with a taunt. They're still feeling very confident because they do have the Elder Drake. It's about to fall off, and there it goes.
The tower's dead. Now moving on to the inhibitor. And Suning Gaming, I mean, the best chance was when the tower is up. Now the inhibitor is the only thing alive. Tien's looking for it, but Scout will Valkyrie to safety. He even has the QSS, and he has Meiko behind him. When you're at these full health situations, so hard for Tien to look for that engage.
Wow. Just passively watching them lose the game. They were basically, that was a spectator sport.
Hesitation into passivity has pretty much been the name of the last couple minutes here for Suning Gaming. When they had the advantage, you know, they were on the offensive, they couldn't find anything from the Baron, looked dissuaded from making any more plays, and now they're losing everything. Double inhibitor down for them. 8 dragons over to EDG. Next push the Elder Dragon War of One off at the very least, but there's only one inhibitor tower still alive, and Shen is going to be able to put the pressure in these super minion lanes.
Yeah, it's the super minion waves, the fact that EDG now have the advantage where they can just 5-man stack in bottom if they want, or they can use the two super creep waves to get them leverage over the Baron Pit area, which is what they're doing right now.
Well, iBoy just flew into the face of XiaoAL, so this could be potentially
Here
problematic. Tian, he sees it in his sights, but there's also Meiko, the eternal buzzkill of Skarner.
But at some point, like, we talk about the LPL, they always believe in the 50-50 rule, and they're just the 51%. They're the better player. Test Meiko's reflexes at least once.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. So Baron down to half. Suningham started it. Haro over the wall. Looks for the steal. Jumps in. It's going to be secured by Varus. So Haro will be going down. But look at the base from EDG. They are pushing right now with 2 carries. The tower is down. The inhibitor's down. And now they're onto the Nexus turrets right now, and XiaoAL managed to go back to base. He's got the support of his team, so if they can get a kill right here onto Ray, that would be fantastic. But they have 3 inhibitors down now with this Baron buff.
That was pretty much a take Baron and scram. Like, everyone exits in different directions so they can at least get some of these empowered recalls home instead of just being chased the whole way. Now, this is a defensive Baron pulse. All of the inhibs are down. This Baron buff should be used just simply to continuously clear out creeps, and we may find ourselves in another situation where we're simply waiting between 6-minute timers on these massive monster objectives before this game gets ended. And a lot of it has to do with Suning just frankly giving way too much respect to EDG.
They had an opportunity in their hands. It was almost gifted to them by EDG. You know, they come in for that miraculous defense. And that was their opportunity, but they didn't grasp it with both hands. They just kind of let it slip. And now, with triple inhibitors down, they can push out of the base, they can push the waves back, but double supers in every single wave, very difficult to deal with. So EDG now waiting, getting control of the map once again, and they have extended this game. You know, this game, if they played the top lane fight and managed to win it, then it would have been over 20 minutes ago. Now EDG have to make all the following steps correctly so they don't step any further behind.
Now the silver lining here is that the top and the mid inhib were taken very close to each other, and they should be coming up relatively soon, so there might be a tiny window, possibly with the very end of the Baron buff, that maybe Suning get confident, but I mean, that said, after watching them for the last 15 minutes, like, they're going to hole up in their base, they're a turtle, and they're going to wait for EDG to make a mistake and then try to find the fight, which is just unfortunate with the composition that they have. Like I said, you know, don't just see that it's Meiko and just expect that he is going to catch him. I mean, he probably will. It is Meiko. But come on, Tian, be brave.
Give it a shot.
At least, you know, test him.
Yeah.
Are you really going to grab him in time? How fast do you think you are?
Yeah,
I want to see some, like, gunslinger action, like, straight from the hip, Skarner ult.
In the West, I've got the quick draw. Yeah, we haven't really seen it at all. And EDG able to, right now, the fact that they can step up, you know, Elder Dragon isn't even on them right now. They're just pushing up with these supers.
They're just flooding the base.
Yeah, and they're just pushing Suning into their base right now, putting pressure onto these Nexus turrets and collecting the minion waves. You know, it feels like EDG got all the vision they wanted. They got all the objectives. There's hardly any jungle camps left alive right now. And there's nothing left but to try and win the game.
EDG, how they win the game, though, they also don't want to fight Suning because they understand where their power is. So they've been securely playing the objective game where they're just, you know, playing around the waves, chipping at towers, these very quick hit-and-run skirmishes. And that's their game plan right now.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning that if Suning Gaming run face first into EDG, Fury is going to do a lot of damage right now. He has full item build, he is Varus, and he doesn't even have a GA. This guy is full glass cannon. He is built to murder people. Here comes the Chain of Corruption, and Meiko just managed to save one, and man, it's just like Russian dolls. They just stack one on top of each other. Okay,
but there's one inhib, and again, it was taken very close to the mid inhib, so 2 inhibs will be back up for Suning. That, again, is going to give them a big window where they can start to play a bit more offensively.
That does mean the Fate's Call is down, though, so while the save is still there from Meiko, Ray does have his ultimate, but that's one major ultimate down, so there is a potential here for Suning.
The nice thing is that when the inhibs come back out and you're not constantly just forced into your own base and getting vision off of the enemy creeps or getting your location because the enemy team is getting vision off their creeps, I want Tian to get out of this base and to start making deep flanking plays with the Skarner. Unfortunately, with all these creeps in his grill, he can't leave the base. He has to stand right there, and if the Skarner can be far more threatening when he's just walking up to you like that, or if he's, you know, flanking around from behind.
But this is the pressure that EDG wants. So they step into the base, now they're chipping away at the inhibitors. I think this one's already dead. There's so much damage coming in from Scout and iBoy onto these objectives. Top tower, or top inhib rather, is almost already dead as well from Ray pushing. And this was a 4-man push into the mid lane, and Suning still didn't collapse in right here. Now they're just losing their Nexus turrets right here. At some point, they need to draw the line because EDG are taking everything from them. Tian, he's found it. He's found the ultimate. He gets onto Meiko. They've taken down the support. Where's the follow-up though? Haro, he's low himself. He pops the goggles. He jumps in. He knows he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. Or maybe not. He jumps over the wall. Now he's going to be dragged in by the shockwave. 2 kills. But the trigger was pulled so late, Frost.
Why didn't you do that 15 minutes ago?
Too little, too late. I mean, that's what we wanted to see, but it was so late. They lost the 2 inhibitors on top side again and a Nexus turret.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The fact that they finally find, you know, the courage, literally the cowardly lion right now, but all of their inhibs are dead. So it's like, okay, well, hey, guys, we can kill them. We can win. We can beat them. Oh, wait, now we're locked back into our base, and Baron and Elder are about to spawn on 150. Because it's a Kalista, EDG are probably at least going to get one of these.
Yeah, and they'll probably take the combat one.
Ah.
And they can very easily get to that 3rd inhibitor, so pretty much there's no wrong choice from EDG. They can go for the fighting stats, or they can go for Baron and push in with that 6th member, which will be double supers pushing in every single lane. So EDG, the onus is not on them anymore. Suning Gaming needs to make something happen.
And it's especially frustrating to watch Suning play this way because this hasn't been their MO recently in the LPL.
Right.
They are a very fast, very clever team, and yeah, you do have some of that that greenness that comes with the inexperience of the roster. Your most veteran members are Fury and Yoon, and they're the Korean duo bot lane, so maybe there's still some language issues. But come on.
Here's the engage, but Meiko burns his flash for this one, gets iBoy to safety, and there's the Fate's Call as well. So they look for another opportunity. Not going to happen, though, because it's just the 1-2. The buddy system between iBoy and Meiko right here is a little bit too good.
Yeah, which is why Jarvan has been kind of the continuous target. It was simply I believe the Fate's Call had already been used the last time Meiko was grabbed, so Tian probably learning his lesson. But just take the shot. It's a low cooldown. Just keep throwing.
Going. Keep throwing balls, because unfortunately at this point in time, you know, I agree with you. Like, this is not how Suning Gaming have played against people in their own conference, and it feels like it's a nameplate thing, you know?
They're usually like, a very good, very clever,
Yeah.
very fast-paced team. They were one of the bloodiest teams. You know, all of the highlights that were making Reddit were Suning playing with the stopwatches. You know, they loved the unsealed spellbook meta because it gave them so many tools and creativity to dive and to make these really crazy plays. And this is just you know, maybe they took a really long break on Chinese New Year.
I really feel like it has to be a mentality thing. It has to be a nameplate thing right here. Suning Gaming are going to launch themselves onto the Elder Dragon, but Ray's already in the base. The rest of EDG closing in around the Baron. XiaoAL and Yoon already on their way back to base because they know Shen is looking to try and crack this one. And there is a small chance here, you know, EDG, if they collapse into the base, if they play incorrectly with this Baron, maybe Suning Gaming can mount a defense and go for that one final push. We are 51 minutes into the game, so that's always a possibility. A one team fight win into a game win rather is always a possibility. But EDG, they have the Baron. They just need to crack that one inhibitor.
The rot portal on top of it, just the cherry on top. Suning's inhibs will be coming up relatively soon. They now have the terrifying Elder buff, so like you were saying, EDG are less incentivized to try to fight them at any point this game, so they will just be playing around, again, more flooding waves. But hopefully with this push, and with Tian popping his sweeper right now, I just want this Skarner to hide. I want him to get into flank. I want him to do something.
And those are getting to some pretty big minion scores right now. Over 600 for many of our players in this game.
What's the record? 900?
Oh, it's like over 1,000 now,
oh,
because
yeah.
that 90-minute game happens in the LCK. So that's never gonna get caught. Like, ever, literally ever.
I can't say this. I definitely don't want this game to go to 90 minutes.
I don't think it will do. You have to have some
dude me?
very. No, I didn't dude you.
Oh, I thought you just said. I think it will do.
No, well, no.
We are not that close.
I don't think it will happen. You need very specific circumstances. This is not one of them.
I have a very particular set of skills.
Here we go.
I hope to God we're running Gathering Storm in this game.
Oh, someone's cashing in right now. Someone's got to be cashing in. The amount of Gathering Storm Kalistas I've seen recently is too damn high. There are no Gathering Storms.
We just got confirmation.
Yep. Rest in peace. So no one's cashing in that cash cow. Ray is pushing in the bottom lane though with double cannon minions. Knight will be able to clear out most of these. Changes have not come in yet. The range minions are not as tanky as melee minions.
Oh, look at Tien. Oh, no.
Nope.
Wiggle at him.
Oh, he's coming.
Get him!
He's got. Nope, he's not going.
Come on.
But now the inhibitors have respawned. All 3 inhibitors are up for Suning Gaming. EDG needs to crack these once more to push in.
I feel like a Little League coach right now. Yep. And they're just setting up the ball on the little plastic thing.
Oh,
that
here we
keeps
go.
Falling over.
Tien looking for the opportunity. The knockup comes in from XiaoAL, but Meiko's going to get dragged back to Shen.
Oh,
Scout
damage.
taking a lot of damage.
No!
Oh, the shockwave. It whiffs, and everybody is in the pit created by the Jarvan. EDG are chasing them down. The carries are dead. Knight and Fury, there's nothing left. Only tanks now. And EDG will very slowly kill XiaoAL. They'll very slowly kill Yoon, but the game is all but done for.
Oh, no, Knight! Ah, that is devastating. But like you said, the death timers, they're way too big at this point. It's literally just Skarner, so I would be shocked if EDG don't end the game here.
There's no damage for us. That's the problem. Scout's dead, yes, but iBoy is all they need. And even if it's a tank battle, EDG will eventually run them down with all these minions coming into the base. EDG are now chipping away at the Nexus turrets itself, and Tien, he's grasping, he's doing everything he can. Yoon as well stepping up, but it's fruitless in the end because EDG, after 54 minutes, an absolute slugfest of a game and a series, will take it down and sweep Suning Gaming.
Devastating there for Knight. You could see what he wanted to do. He wanted to put the Orianna ball on top of his head, flash in, and make the hero play, and just... You know, there's a very famous StarCraft pro, and when asked, why are you so good, his response was, I am not good because I have some sort of talent or insight into the game. I am simply good because I have been put in every single situation that I have a muscle memory for how to deal with it. And unfortunately for Knight, he just hasn't been put in that many situations. He didn't have the muscle memory. He just needs time. It was the right idea. I liked the killer instinct, but that one is going to hurt.
Because of how close quarters the fight turned into as well, but as soon as it was down, Jarvan saw the opportunity, was like, yes, 5-man Cataclysm, I will just destroy them in the pit. And that was what it turned into. So unfortunate that one whiffed, because Orianna Shockwave was going to hit 4 people right in that situation, you know, but didn't find its mark. That means he goes down, the carries go down, it's just tanks left. And EDG will eventually win out. The veteran nature of this team, eventually that shotgun is going to come through. And you know, when they make a mistake, they made 2 mistakes in top, then mid, you know from there it's going to be watertight, you know, like that's when EDG are going to buckle down. A team like this are not going to make any more mistakes, and it's then down onto a team like Suning Gaming to make the play.
It's the fact that you cannot exhaust them. EDG's superior support staff, the fact that they continuously will pull new names, new faces like Ray and Haro through this roster and make stars.
You cannot exhaust them. I feel like that is a fantastic phrase for EDG and many of our teams in the LPL, you know, who have just have such long-standing histories, honestly, such long legacies. And these players who have been around for so long, they get to the point, it's just like, even if the newer players are starting to struggle, there's always going to be that shot calling. It's like, I've been in this situation. Meiko sits there and he's like, well, I know exactly what to do. We do this, we go from step A, step B, and then we finish the game. And
like I said, you know, earlier on, this was Meiko's 300th game. We've really watched him grow up and turn into this leader. This is a new page, a new legacy in EDG. Now winning the series, they are sitting at top of the table in the Western Conference. You know, this could very well be the start of their run towards the finals, or at least, at very least, towards the playoffs. And if Meiko can take home an EDG trophy without Clear Love, then truly the torch has been passed.
He's managed to do it. Become the leader that EDG need right here. And you're absolutely right. They are towards the top of the table now, and they still have 7 games, I believe. They have 2 more games to play to catch up to everyone else. You know, most of these teams in the Western Conference have played like 9 at this point. So the fact that they've only dropped 1 series, they could not only overtake some of these teams, but get right to the top and then stay there for a long time.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this was, as we look at the gold graph, this was a tough-fought victory for EDG. It looked very sketch, but I feel like that was just the nature of their composition, and unfortunately, I didn't think this series was going to break out any other way. You know, game number 1, it showed a very quick 25-minute victory. Game number 2, the composition really ran out of steam, but it was just kind of the superior playmaking, patience, and decision-making from EDG that even with, you know, one hand tied behind their back, having that Kalista in the late game, they were able to execute.
Right, and to shine that light once again on Suning Gaming, you know, they had the play in their eyes, you know, and it feels like that was almost the theme of the last 30 minutes that we watched, right? It was just like players would see the play, but they couldn't quite grasp at it. You know, they either didn't initiate, didn't go for it, they
couldn't find that R
button. Yeah, right?
Just,
or
it
it comes in the wrong time.
Between T and E, I think.
Yeah, that was the problem, honestly. You know, it wasn't just for the Skarner, but also for the mid lane as well from Knight. They couldn't quite just find the play in that late game when put down to it. And that's where they crumble, you know? Like, apart from that, we've seen really good things so far from Suning in their own confidence to be picking up wins. But against these better teams, against these teams with potential, that's where it starts to crumble. Well, that's our take, but we are going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at that series and close out the day.
With that, EDG propelled themselves to the top of their conference, picking up 2-0 victory over Suning. But going into game number 3, the draft was changed quite significantly, especially from Suning's side. They drafted a little bit better according to their playstyle as well.
And I'll forgive you for saying game 3, Fish, because I thought we were going there as well, to be honest with you. I thought Suning Gaming had it, but you're right, it starts at the draft. And the first place that you look at is the Skarner being locked in first, and I do believe that that's perfectly fine. Skarner's come up as high priority, and what I want to talk about the Skarner is actually EDG's response to it. Shen was locked in. Shen diffuses Skarner almost entirely. We saw it in an earlier set with RNG playing. Every single time a Skarner ulted someone, there was a Shen on top of that person. It was Shen support in that case. This time we see it in the top lane because the support was already locked in. But the support was a Tahm Kench. Very good against Skarner as well. The only problem I have with EDG, and this transcends the draft just a little bit for a second, is no QSSs for 35 minutes. Kind of sucks against Skarner, wouldn't you imagine, when he ults you and manages to come back in the game?
Yeah, it took them a long time before they eventually picked up those QSSs, but a lot led up to that play as well, especially when Suning Gaming, they tried to execute their strategy, and it started with the not the Zero Potter,
Banner of Command.
Banner of Command being picked up by Sion on the top lane. It allowed them to pick up first turret, and we know Suning Gaming to be a mid-game team similar to EDG, but unlike EDG, they want to split up into the 1-4, the 1-3-1. Instead, what they did was try to fight EDG, which is exactly what EDG wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it does come back to that Sion. So that's something that actually stands out to me as a smart decision, right? They get the first turret in the top lane. And at this point, like, that's great. They get exactly what they want. The Banner of Command, the Sion that has push. And then they teleport to bottom. You're like, okay, that's also great. And then they keep going. You're like, it's no longer great. And then they team fight after they should have stopped like 10 seconds ago, and suddenly it's horrible. And from all of these things, like, Suning Gaming is so close to being outstanding as a team. They just take one step too far every single time, or they make one mechanical mistake every single time. We see it from the 2v2 in the bottom lane. And we are seeing so much for potential from this 5v5 roster, and you know full well that if they play at their best, they could have beaten EDG today in that second game at the very least. And that shows that this side does have what it takes, but we just didn't see it consistently for a whole game.
No, we did not. They set themselves up to play and execute their strategy of split pushing and breaking EDG apart. EDG really wanted the team fight, and it was just gifted to them by Suning Gaming. However, EDG had their own fault as well. Throughout the rest of the match, Cast was talking a lot about how Tahm was not able to use his ultimate, but as soon as he did, as soon as he locked one member down from EDG, pick after pick came out, and it slowly closed that goal lead and gave Suning Gaming some breathing room to come back during the mid-game.
He struggled to get his eye in. He'd never used his ultimate for 25 odd minutes, but then he found a Jarvan. Once he found a Jarvan, he pressed tab and he realized that there were so many targets, but Jarvan was just the easiest. And then they found target after a target, and then there was a fight inside the base for EDG when they were trying to push towards the end, and Scout was the man that stepped up too far. And again, finding opportunities like that kept them in the game. We thought they had what it takes to actually win that game until we saw the last team fight.
Yeah, we had a couple of mistakes come out from Suning's game leading up to that team fight, which led to their base collapsing, but eventually it was 100,000 gold for both teams, and it came down to one final team fight, and unfortunately for Suning Gaming, it did not work out well for them.
Knight, it's the mechanical mistake. You'll watch the Orianna. He is the reason, unfortunately, that they don't get what they're after. And it's not even that he put it on a target that disappeared. It's that he flashed and he just didn't press Q. He just forgot the one button. And of course, it's not that he forgot. He probably thought he pressed it, but he was outside of range when he pressed it down. So Orianna wants to path forwards, but he pressed R before it. And so the ultimate sombreroed on top of himself. Jarvan capitalizes, Haro picks it up, and EDG, they're a smart team. They know full well that when that was gone, they can turn that around, they can get that big team fight, and they do secure the victory there. And credit to Suning for taking the fight. Tragically, of course, it's a mechanical mis-execution that cost them the fight. Think about the 2v2 at like 7 minutes in the game in the bottom lane. It was a missed Varus ultimate that may well have been a 1-2v2 down there. And you can't help but think that if these skills were connecting, if just the mechanics were hitting, could Suning Gaming just have destroyed EDG in that game?
Yeah, just to echo what Frostcombe was saying during the cast, the fact that Suning Gaming was so close every single time, but it was just not enough. Inches was what separated them from EDG, and experience and time will be what Suning need to get to that top, to that caliber that EDG have at the moment. They're still 4-3 in their conference, still doing fairly well, but in that match, Meiko was able to pick up MVP with his performance on Tahm Kench, crucial in helping out all his carries.
Yeah, being able to save everyone that gets caught, and of course iBoy the second MVP in my mind for saving Meiko as Meiko saves them. They were just Russian dolls, as Pulse said. Very smart composition to get the 5v5 from EDG, able to defuse a Skarner, play nicely around it, not necessarily need those QSS purchases early because of that.
We were criticizing him a little bit as well because he did not have his own QSS and often was the target for Suning late game to try and pick him off, including that final team fight where they caught out the Tahm Kench. However, still played very well despite that, was able to lead his team to victory. As Frostcombe has mentioned as well, the torch has been handed over to him. He is now the captain of the team. He does have to step up and make big plays as well as great shot calling in order to allow EDG to succeed.
And the sign of a good leader, right? Maybe he doesn't need the QSS because he actually had the Kalista to return the Pokemon back to his Pokeball at every single moment, and to trust that iBoy is going to be able to do that. When Meiko overextends, flashes to save Scout, to know that iBoy can then bring Meiko to safety does speak wonders towards them, and I'm very impressed to see that from EDG, and to see them get the victory with that at all, just simply because the execution is so difficult.
It certainly was. On top of that, EDG are now able to put themselves at the top of the table through that. So, EDG now, they're sitting at 7-1. They still have to face off Invictus Gaming during the cross-conference eventually, and it's kind of looking like it's going to... Sorry, 6-1 at the moment. Yes. It's kind of looking to be that it's going to be between IG and EDG to determine who is going to lead the pack after cross-conference based on the way these two teams are playing.
And you know, if I wrote those notes down correctly in my book, they do play later in week 5 Fish, which is very exciting. We'll be seeing a clash perhaps of the number ones. We saw it from IG earlier in the week against Snake, but you're right, EDG, the way that they're playing currently, it's not perfect by any means. Suning Gaming took it to them. And that's the thing with EDG. I do feel like an experienced team, a patient team, and a very methodical team can still tear them apart. And we saw a lot of weaknesses in this game that an experienced team should beat.
Yeah, especially from Suning Gaming, who now they have to go through the rest of cross-conference. They're currently sitting at 4-3, and we can take a look at where they stand in their own conference as well. As we mentioned, EDG currently top of their group, 6-1. Suning Gaming now 4-4, tied with RNG for that 4th and 5th place.
Yeah, the playoff contentions at the bottom of each respective group is still super tight. Vici, the only team without a victory so far, but the top of the table has changed in the West. So we mentioned EDG getting a victory, but Snake also losing to Invictus Gaming. So I think that adds a little bit of extra depth to IG versus EDG being the actual top of the tables clash.
And this is only week 2 of the cross-conference. There's 4 weeks in total of cross-conference play. We've already seen a lot of changes, not only in teams' playstyles, but also the meta being changed quite heavily. But something's still the same. We still see Cogmos here and there from the likes of Uzi, from the likes of iBoy. Some things about the LPL just will never change.
Yeah, you'll still see the Cogmos. You'll still see the Cogmore Lulus where applicable as well. Game number 1 of EDG was exactly that. Uzi picks it up. We see it from SMLZ as well where possible. And these players are just that good at Cogmore that it does transcend meta.
Well, that's all the matches for today. Today, however, is just day 1 of the 5th week of the LPL. Unfortunately, we will not be broadcasting the LPL through the English broadcast on Tuesday or Wednesday, but the English broadcast will be back on Friday, kickstarting with Vici taking on RNG, followed by Rogue Warriors against EDG at 5 o'clock Shanghai time. If you want to tune into the rest of the LPL matches, they'll still be live at 5 o'clock on both Tuesday as well as Wednesday, 5 o'clock Shanghai time that is. You can head over to the Twitter account, the LPL Twitter English account, to find out more about where you can watch those games. But still, first match of the day, it's not looking good for Vici on Friday. They're going up against RNG. They still haven't picked up a win, and RNG, they must be feeling a bit more confident after taking up a win over Team WE.
Uzi's back, RNG is happy. Vici, yeah, not with a win. I'm not sure they'll get one in that first set. The second one is the one I'd look towards, Rogue Warriors against EDG.
Yeah, but that's all from us here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Rusty, our casters today, as well as the entire production crew, we'll see you guys on Friday.